911, what is the location of your emergency?
He's here. He's here. He's outside.
Who is outside, Michaela?
My ex. I want protection against him.
What's going on? Michaela, wwhat's happening?
He just shot her.
What happened? Where is she shot?
I can't tell, please. Oh my God. Help me, Lord. Help.
On November 15th, 2021, a young woman named Michaela Carter believed she was finally getting away. Not forever. Just far enough to breathe. Just far enough to feel safe. That morning didn't feel dramatic. There were no alarms. No warning signs in the sky. Just a quiet fear that had been living inside her for a long time. Michaela packed a small bag. Not a suitcase. Not everything she owned. Just what she thought she would need to survive the next few days. Clothes, her ID, and a folded court paper. A protection order meant to protect her from the man she was trying to escape. That man's name was James Leggett. This wasn't the first time Michaela had been afraid. It wasn't the first time she had tried to leave, but this time felt different. This time, she had finally spoken up. She had finally told the truth. She had finally asked the system for help. She went to court. She stood before a judge. She explained her fear, and the court believed her. The judge signed the paper. James Leggett was ordered to stay away. No contact. No threats. No weapons. On paper, Michaela was protected. But fear doesn't disappear just because a judge signs a document. Fear stays in your chest. Fear listens for footsteps. Fear waits for doors to open. That morning, Michaela's heart wouldn't slow down. She checked the window. She checked the door. And she kept her phone close. At some point, she saw him. James Leggett was outside. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to come near her. And he definitely wasn't supposed to have a gun. But witnesses believed he did. Michaela did what she had been told to do. She called 911. Her mother called too. She told them she was scared. She told them about the protection order. She told them the man she was trying to escape was nearby. Police arrived. They spoke to everyone. They listened. They looked around. And then they left. 10 minutes. That's all it took. 10 minutes after police drove away. James Leggett came back. This time, with a gun. Michaela grabbed her bag. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was racing. She thought if she could just get outside, she could get away. But when she stepped forward, she saw him, coming fast, focused, angry. Michaela turned around, ran back inside, locked the door, and she called 911 again. This time, she didn't scream. She didn't cry out. She whispered. Her voice was shaking. Her breath was shallow. She was afraid he would hear her. He's here. He's here. In that moment, Michaela Carter was doing everything she was told to do. She followed the law. She asked for help. She trusted the system. She tried to leave. And still, the system failed her. Welcome back to Crime Journal TV, where we uncover the truth behind the cases that shock the world. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because today's story is not just heartbreaking, it's deeply disturbing. This is the story of Michaela Carter, a woman who tried to escape abuse, and a man who refused to let her go. His name, James Leggett. Before fear took over her life, Michaela Carter was just like so many others. She wasn't famous. She wasn't looking for attention. She was simply trying to build a life that felt normal and safe. Michaela was known as someone who cared deeply. She checked on people. She remembered birthdays. She noticed when someone was quiet and asked if they were okay. Friends describe her as kind, loyal, the type of person who would stay up late just to listen. Michaela worked hard. She showed up. She didn't ask for much. And she believed effort mattered. She believed that if you loved someone enough, if you were patient enough, people could change. That belief didn't come from weakness. It came from hope. Michaela believed love meant standing by someone, even when things weren't easy. She believed in second chances, and sometimes third chances too. That belief shaped her life. It shaped her decisions. And eventually, it placed her in danger. When Michaela met James Leggett, she didn't see a monster. She saw someone who needed understanding. Someone who had made mistakes. Someone who promised he was trying to do better. James talked about his past. About how life had been hard on him. About how people had given up on him. Michaela listened, and she believed him. In the beginning, things didn't seem dangerous. There were good days, laughter, moments that felt real. And when the bad moments came, James always had an excuse. Stress, anger, promises that it would never happen again. Michaela wanted to believe that, because believing meant hope, and hope felt better than fear. Slowly, things began to change. Not all at once, not in a way that was easy to see. The control came quietly. A comment here, a question there. Where were you? Who were you with? Why didn't you answer? At first, it sounded like concern, like love, but over time, it felt heavier. Michaela started adjusting herself, explaining more, apologizing when she hadn't done anything wrong. She didn't talk about it much, not because she didn't want help, but because she didn't want to worry anyone. Michaela was the kind of person who protected others, even when she was hurting. Behind closed doors, the tension grew. Arguments lasted longer. His anger came faster, and the apologies began to feel empty. Still, Michaela stayed, not because she was weak, but because she believed love could fix what was broken. She believed that if she tried harder, if she cared more, things would go back to how they were in the beginning. But they didn't. Fear didn't arrive all at once. It crept in slowly, quietly, a knot in her stomach, sleepless nights, a constant feeling of watching what she said. And somewhere deep inside, Michaela realized something was wrong. The woman who once believed love could change anyone was starting to understand that love alone was not enough. And that understanding would eventually lead her to make the most dangerous decision of her life. The decision to leave James Leggett. James Leggett was not a stranger to the system. Long before Michaela ever feared for her life, James already had a history with police, a history with courts, and a history of ignoring rules. Over the years, James Leggett had been arrested multiple times. Drug charges, burglary, robbery. These weren't mistakes made once. They were part of a pattern of instability, a pattern of poor decisions, and a pattern of violence. Because of his criminal record, the law was very clear. James Leggett was not allowed to own or possess a firearm, but laws only work when people choose to follow them. And James had never been good at following rules. To people who didn't know him well, James could seem normal. He could talk calmly. He could smile. He could act like nothing was wrong. That's how he survived for so long, without raising alarms. But behind closed doors, Michaela saw a different man. A man who needed control. A man who didn't handle rejection well. A man whose anger didn't fade. It waited. James believed Michaela belonged to him, not as a partner, not as an equal, but as something he owned. When Michaela tried to set boundaries, James took it personally. When she tried to pull away, he pushed harder. Love, to James, wasn't about care. It was about control. Friends and family later said the signs were there. The jealousy, the constant checking in, the way he wanted to know where Michaela was at all times. If she didn't answer her phone quickly, he assumed the worst. If she wanted space, he accused her of betrayal. James also had a volatile relationship with his own family. There were incidents where police had been called, arguments that escalated, anger that got out of control. In one incident, James became aggressive during a confrontation at his parents' home. His own parents were afraid. These moments were documented, written down, filed away. The system knew who James Leggett was. Probation officers knew. Courts knew. Law enforcement knew. But knowing someone is dangerous is not the same as stopping them. When James was placed on probation, he was given conditions. Follow the rules. Stay out of trouble. No violence. And like before, he violated them. That violation landed him back in jail. But jail didn't change him. It only made him angrier. When James was released, the pressure returned. And this time, it was focused entirely on Michaela. Michaela knew his history. She knew what he was capable of. That's why she was afraid. That's why she went to court. That's why she asked for protection. Because deep down, Michaela understood something terrifying. James Leggett didn't see the protection order as the end. He saw it as a loss of control. And to someone like James, losing control is unbearable. As the days passed, James became more unpredictable. His messages grew more intense, his behavior more erratic. Michaela could feel the tension building, like the air before a storm. And the closer she got to leaving, the more dangerous James became. The system had documented him. The courts had warned him. And Michaela had tried to protect herself. But none of that guaranteed safety. Because the most dangerous person is the one who believes they have nothing left to lose. At first, the control was quiet. It showed up in small ways. Questions that didn't need answers. Curiosity that felt more like surveillance. James wanted to know where Michaela was all the time. If she went out, he needed details. If she was late, he demanded explanations. Her phone stopped feeling like her own. James checked her messages, scrolled through her calls, asked about names he didn't recognize. Michaela started choosing her words carefully, started avoiding conversations, started shrinking herself just to keep the peace. But peace never lasted. When Michaela tried to set boundaries, James pushed back harder. When she asked for space, he accused her of cheating. His jealousy grew louder, his temper shorter, and his patience disappeared. Arguments that once ended with silence now ended with rage. Doors slammed, voices raised, fear settled in. Michaela began to realize something painful. James wasn't losing control. This was his control. Then came the moment that changed everything. During an argument, James snapped. He grabbed a bottle, and he struck Michaela with it. The impact was sudden, the shock immediate, and the fear overwhelming. In that moment, Michaela understood something she could no longer ignore. This wasn't love. This wasn't a bad argument. This was violence. And violence only goes one direction. It escalates. Michaela didn't wait this time. She left. She went somewhere safe. And for the first time, she told the full truth. She went to the hospital. Doctors treated her injuries. They asked questions, and Michaela answered honestly. After the hospital, she went to court. Walking into that courtroom wasn't easy. Facing the reality of what she had been living through took courage. Michaela explained what had been happening. The control, the fear, the violence. She asked for protection. Not revenge, not punishment, just safety. The judge listened, and the court granted protection order against James Leggett. James was ordered to stay away. No calls, no messages, no showing up, and most importantly, no weapons. On paper, Michaela was protected. But paper doesn't stop obsession. It doesn't stop anger. And it doesn't stop someone who refuses to let go. For James, the protection order wasn't a boundary. It was a threat to his control. And losing control only made him more dangerous. Michaela tried to move forward. She focused on work, on staying busy, on rebuilding her life. But in the background, James was unraveling. The fear never fully left her, because even with the order in place, Michaela knew the truth. If James came back, words on paper wouldn't stop him, and soon, that fear will become reality. When you're ready, I can continue with November 15th, 2021, the final day. Quiet, heavy, restrained, tension underneath. On November 15th, 2021, everything Michaela feared came rushing toward her. James Leggett had been released from jail just days earlier, and almost immediately, he broke the rules. He began contacting Michaela again. Calls, messages, words that showed he was unraveling. Michaela felt it. That pressure, that sense that something was wrong. That morning, Michaela was with her mother. They were trying to stay alert, trying to stay safe. Then they saw him. James was outside. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was violating the protection order.
He's outside walking around with a gun. We have an order of protection against him, and I'm pretty sure he's looking for my daughter because my niece lives in those apartments.
How do you know this person, ma'am?
It's my ex-husband. It's my daughter's husband, estranged husband. He just got out of jail like last week. James Leggett. Are they seven people? Yeah, but they have to ask you all this.
What is he wearing right now?
We didn't see him, so I'm not sure what he's wearing. He's outside, and I told my niece not to go back out there.
All right, how did you know that he has a gun?
Yeah, he's 6'6". He's a black guy, brown skin, low cut hair.
Not low, but it's a little bit of hair.
Yeah, he's really tall.
All right, how did you know that he has a gun?
Because they seen him. He's been posting on Facebook, and he's not even supposed to contact my daughter, but he's been sending her crazy messages since 9 o'clock this morning.
So you're not sure that he's outside because you haven't seen him, right?
Oh yes, I'm sure he's outside with a gun.
But how? But did you saw him with a gun?
My niece did. I'm headed over here now, but I'm kind of scared to go.
What's the name of the apartment?
Officers arrived at the scene. They spoke with Michaela. They spoke with her mother. They assessed the situation. But there was a problem. Officers said they didn't see the gun. They said they didn't have enough proof. No arrest was made. No one was detained. Despite the protection order, despite the fear, despite the warnings, the officers left. Michaela stood there, stunned. The danger hadn't gone away. It had only paused. Michaela knew she couldn't stay. She grabbed her bag, a small one, clothes, her ID, and the court paper meant to protect her. She planned to run. Just get out. Get somewhere safe. She stepped outside, and that's when she saw him, James Leggett, coming toward her, fast, determined, armed. Michaela didn't freeze. She turned and ran, back into the house. She slammed the door, locked it. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was racing. She grabbed her phone and called 911 again. This time, her voice was different, lower, quieter, filled with fear. "He's here," she whispered. "He's here." She didn't want James to hear her. She didn't want to make a sound. While still on the phone, James forced his way inside. The sound was sudden, violent, final. Gunshots rang out. Michaela screamed. The dispatcher stayed on the line, but it was already too late. James Leggett opened fire. The system had already left the scene, and Michaela Carter was left alone with the danger she had begged to be protected from. Michaela Carter did not survive. By the time help arrived, the damage had already been done. She was rushed to the hospital. Doctors tried, but her injuries were too severe. Michaela passed away shortly after. She was just 24 years old. Her life ended hours before her birthday. James Leggett fled the scene, but he didn't get far. Police arrested him. He was charged with murder and related offenses. The case moved into the legal system. But for Michaela, justice came too late. News of her death spread quickly. People were stunned, angry, heartbroken.
It was a 911 call that captured a terrifying moment when police say an estranged husband repeatedly shot a Nashville woman who later died.
And that woman's mother is suing the city of Nashville, saying officers never should have let it get to that point. And tonight, for the first time, News Channel 5's Jason Lamb is digging into those 911 calls and what that woman's mother says she wants you to hear.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
He's here.
The mother of Michaela Carter is suing Metro Nashville for what happened in the middle of this call in November 2021.
He's 6'6", he's like 260. Are you sending somebody? Did you ever just send somebody?
What's going on? What's going on?
A lawsuit says earlier in the day, Michaela's estranged husband called and sent text messages to her, looking for her. The lawsuit says that violated a protection order Michaela had against him after he beat Michaela with a glass liquor bottle earlier that year. But when Michaela called Metro Police and showed officers the text messages, the lawsuit says officers told her they still didn't have enough evidence to arrest her husband and brought her back home to Antioch. Police left. Her husband came back. Michaela called 911.
One question kept coming up. How could this happen? After she did everything right, Michaela had asked for help. She had gone to court. She had a protection order. And still, she was killed. Her family demanded answers. They want to know why police left, why no arrest was made, why warning signs were ignored. A lawsuit followed. It named the city. It named the failures. Investigations were launched. Reports were reviewed. Body camera use was questioned. Required safety steps were examined. What investigators found was troubling. Certain protocols were not followed. Risk assessments were not completed. Critical decisions were delayed. The system that was meant to protect Michaela had broken down. Public pressure grew. Community members spoke out. Advocates demanded change. Eventually, the city acknowledged failures, and a settlement was reached. Policies were reviewed. Training procedures were discussed. Mistakes were officially recognized. But none of that brought Michaela back. No policy change could undo her loss. No settlement could replace her life. What remained was grief and a painful truth. Michaela Carter trusted the system, and the system failed her. Michaela Carter's story is hard to hear, not because it's rare, but because it isn't. There are so many people living in fear right now. So many people holding court papers, hoping they will be enough. Michaela believed the system would protect her. She believed that asking for help mattered. She believed doing the right thing would keep her safe. And she did everything she was supposed to do. She spoke up. She went to court. She tried to leave. But when the moment came, the protection failed. Long silence. Michaela's story is not just about what happened to her. It's about what happens when warnings are ignored, when danger is underestimated, when fear isn't taken seriously. If this story made you uncomfortable, it should, because discomfort is where change begins. If you or someone you love is in danger, take it seriously. Speak up. Push for help. Don't wait. And if this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. Awareness saves lives. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Crime Journal TV. We tell these stories not for views, but for truth, and for the voices that were silenced. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next investigation.